An image of an Israeli soldier standing over a stripped and wounded Palestinian man in Gaza has emerged on social media. This is a screen grab from a video uploaded by the soldier himself. It was reportedly recorded in Gaza City. The US State Department has called the image deeply troubling, while the Israeli military says the video is, quote, contrary to its protocols and values. Well, it's just one of many highly criticised social media posts from Israeli soldiers in Gaza. OK, so what you've just heard is an Israeli soldier reacting to the demolition of a residential building. Other videos show Israeli soldiers joking about civilians in Gaza not being involved in the conflict as they walk through the ruins of homes and schools. South Africa's case at the International Court of Justice referenced videos similar to these as evidence of genocidal intent. OK, let's introduce Luis Moreno Ocampo, who's the former chief prosecutor at the International Criminal Court. He joins us from Punta del Este in Uruguay. A very warm welcome to you. Thanks for your time. So even in conflict, there are clearly rules of engagement, but we know some of Israel's acts in Gaza amount to, quote, plausible acts of genocide. That's according to the International Court of Justice. As we continue to see image after image of Israeli soldiers apparently abusing their positions in Gaza and indeed the West Bank, what does an organisation like the International Criminal Court do with evidence like that?
Well, I think the most important call now in the short term to protect the people, both protect the family of the hostage and the Gaza people, the most important is the International Court of Justice decision. As you rightly say, the 13 judges say it's plausibly possibility there's a genocide ongoing. And in 3 weeks, Israel has to present to the judges how they would change to transform the situation. That's why it's a very important moment now, because there are like parallel tracks. I see the court decision demanding Israel come back to us in 3 weeks, tell what you will do. I see US and Qatar working on this agreement with Hamas on the ceasefire that is in some way moving in the same direction. Of course, that will be problematic for Netanyahu, because Netanyahu, end of the war, is his end as a political leader. So that's why it's a conflict between Israeli hostages, Israeli people, the Gaza people, and Netanyahu's destiny.
Just while you're talking, we're looking at some of the images that have been uploaded by Israeli soldiers. Some of them appear to be reveling in acts of violence in Gaza and the West Bank. We have heard time and time again said in Israel that the Israeli military is one of the most moral and ethical armies in the region. What does what we're seeing now say and do to those claims?
Well, in the International Court of Justice decision, one point that even the Israeli judge agreed is that Israel justice system has to investigate whoever is inciting to violence. So these images should be investigated by Israel itself, and including the demonstrations to block the humanitarian assistance. That would be genocide. So I believe the court in Israel can show commitment to the idea of law is a way to harmonize interests, no war. And they could start these cases, investigating people in Israel that is inciting to genocide. Netanyahu is different. The International Criminal Court could, and maybe will, deal with Netanyahu himself, because there is no immunity before the International Criminal Court. So Netanyahu, even as a prime minister, cannot be investigated in Israel, could be investigated by the ICC. The problem is this investigation against Netanyahu will take time, and we need to protect the people today. That's why to protect Israeli who has hostages in Gaza and to protect the Gaza people is really important the next 3 weeks.
Right.
How Qatar and US put pressure on the ceasefire, what Netanyahu will do, and what will happen in 3 weeks when Israel had to go back to The Hague to present what they will do.
Right. I mean,
if they do nothing.
Sure.
Yep.
You talked about the enforcement of law in Israel and the law being a unifying force for Israel going forward. But we're seeing Israeli demonstrators on the Kerem Abu Salem crossing, many aligned with the Israeli far right, blocking aid from entering Gaza, contrary to the emergency measures passed by the ICJ to allow in aid. Does that mean these so-called demonstrators are themselves participating in crimes against humanity?
Or genocide? Well, that is one of the points that the International Court of Justice said, that the US judiciary should control inciting to violence in Israel or inciting to commit genocide. And the point I did is even the Barak, the judge, Israel judge, who is sitting in the International Court of Justice, agree on that point. So absolutely clear, yes, Israel judiciary should investigate these crimes, these statements, and investigate incitation to commit genocide. But my point about the law is not just about inside Israel. Israel chooses to go to war, and that's why ICJ could transform the agenda. Hamas should be controlled. Hamas could not commit crimes, but could not be a war against civilians in Gaza. That is the way we have to. That is goal. Stop war. Stop terrorism. Stop killings. Use the law. That's the idea. That's why South Africa. Yeah.
Just returning to this situation on that all-important border crossing, I mean, what appears quite clear is that those who are blocking aid, a group calling themselves Order 9, seem to have the implicit or tacit support of some serving cabinet members. These are people like Itamar Ben-Gvir, the National Security Minister. Could it be argued this blockade of aid is state-sanctioned?
Yes. Stopping aid could be, in particular, to destroy the civilians, is genocide under Article 2C, with inflicting conditions to destroy the community. And I believe it's a shame that the President Gvir, that was rejected by the Israeli army forces because of its extremist behavior. So if the Israel armed forces who rejected the current Minister Gvir to be in the army, and now this person is leading the security. That's why we are talking about Gaza, but we should also focus on what Gvir is doing in the West Bank. Yes, Mr. Gvir could not be a minister in Israel. It's an extremist, right-wing, saved by the Israeli army.
Luis Moreno Ocampo, former chief prosecutor at the ICC in The Hague. Many thanks for joining us and sharing your thoughts.
Thank you.